Good morning everybody and welcome to day 4 on the Rob Roy Way. It is another glorious morning. Last night we camped in this little bit of woodland that we found.
Yes, this was our 3rd night on the trail, just before Strathire. Now if you haven't seen part 1, click on the link above. We already had 2 stunning wild camps so far.
We were hoping to camp a little bit further back, but there was just nowhere around for ages. So what we did is the main road into town is just up there. It wasn't ideal, it was a little bit boggy, but there was no alternative. But it was really peaceful, and we had a deer walking around the tent in the night and it woke Daddy up.
We were set and ready to go.
We're ready for day 4.
So we're at the end of stage 3 as we added a couple of miles onto today. We are in Strathire and there is a cafe and a village shop. The cafe opens at 10 but the shop opens at 8, so we've got coffee, snacks and some plasters and boring stuff. Now we're ready to go.
Heading out of Strathire, the guys couldn't resist. Apparently it was their first bounce in quite a while, so we couldn't say no. Danny got rather excited every time we spotted a trail marker. I think we all had a bit too much caffeine and sugar that morning. This section of woodland coming out of Strathire was so beautiful, with so many wild camping options. A much better alternative to where we had stopped the previous night. We couldn't believe our luck that the weather was holding out, and we were even pushing through our trail ailments.
How you feeling, babe?
I'm alright, I've got a blister on my foot, which is not ideal. But yeah, it's so beautiful here, so it's cute.
Yeah, I'm dosed up on painkillers from my back, so I'm actually feeling alright at the minute. We're just kind of moseying along in this really beautiful foresty bit. We had a bit of a climb. Now we're slowly descending into King's house, and so far the views have just been gorgeous. Snow-capped mountains to the left of us. You probably can't see from here, but we'll show you on the camera in a minute.
Just gorgeous. The trail just kept getting better. We were using the Hiker app GPS map to navigate the route, our only go-to for trail maps, due to all the handy features it packs in. I'll leave a link to the app in the description below, along with a discount code for its premium version.
We've just had a lunch stop and we've got about 9 miles left before we get to Killin, where we're going to go to the pub and have cooked food and wine.
Now, as I mentioned in part 1, this was Danny's first time wild camping, and her only stipulation was that we split up the trail by stopping in a hotel midway so she could have a hot bath and refresh. It was a fair deal, considering she was handling all so well so far.
For 3 miles, route follows old railway, caustic terrain, prone to erosion, slides and falls. Okay. It's the Crystal Maze. Da, 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 da.
Now this section of the trail, although it had some pretty scenery, seemed to go on forever. We followed the same path for miles.
Four more miles to get to Killin. We're snacking on Chewits. We've hit a wall today. So we are stopping on the mile, every mile, for snacks, for a little break, take our bags off and generally try and refresh. Yeah, tired. Tired babies.
But we persevered. Today had been the most mileage for us so far, and after a spell of being unwell and in bed the weeks previous, it was a struggle as my stamina was pretty low. Thank goodness Scotland delivered as always, and we were kept distracted by the views.
Here we go, 2.4 miles left to go till we get to the pub. What do we want?
Chips!
When do we want it?
Now!
Yes.
5 miles ago.
Chips.
We've literally just had a stop. 5 minutes after we set off, Charlotte goes for
Oh my god, finally we entered Killin, and we were greeted by the stunning Falls of Dochart. As I mentioned before, myself and Danny would be staying across the street in a warm bed, but the guys were wild camping again. They would have food with us and then backtrack half a mile and camp just before you enter Killin. Wine, it was needed. We stuffed ourselves and headed to our room for a nice hot bath. Meanwhile, the guys set up camp and bunkered down for another frosty night.
This is Danny Cam. We got to have showers last night and wash our hair, change all our clothes and wash all our socks and all that malarkey. So I feel all clean and all fresh. My feet still hurt, but ready to go for day 5.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, so last night we stayed in the Falls of Dochart Inn, which is literally opposite the Falls of Dochart in Killin. It was beautiful, nice to have a hot bath and to recharge a little bit. Just waiting for our breakfast to be served, and then the guys are going to come and meet us very, very shortly. And then we're going to crack on. We've got a big mountain to start the day with, so we need some sustenance.
Yes, oh yes, big fat fry up to start the day. The gang arrived outside and Charlotte stood to admire the falls. Obviously by this photo you can see just how impressed she was with last night's camp. Positively thrilled.
Now I have got some very sad news. Unfortunately, we're losing Devon. We're not feeling very well at all. We've got poorly knees and a bit of a dodgy stomach. So they're going over to that bus stop over there and are going home, but going to complete it another time. So then there were 4, me, Danny, Jordan and Charlotte, who were cracking on and are going to try and get up that mountain today. Although we have just had to resupply, so our bags are twice as heavy, which is never a good thing, but we'll do this. We can do it!
Okay, so we're just about to start the climb. Apparently it's only about 600 meters up, but we have just resupplied with all of our food and water, Pepsi Max, so our bags are quite a lot heavier than normal. Yeah, we're taking it slow and steady.
Today was looking fabulous already. The sun was shining and the trail was taking us through some immense landscape. We were all gutted Devon had to miss it though. The climb up was tiring, even though the gradient wasn't overly steep. It was a long way to get to the top, a test of endurance.
We're about halfway up, about 300 meters up, and we're coping all right. More so than we thought we would. We're just having plenty of stops. Charlotte's having a little nap on the path. We've seen quite a few really nice wild camping spots as you're coming up the mountain. So if anybody wanted to camp on the way up, there's lots of possibilities there as well.
We followed a minor road up the mountain, which at least made it pretty easy to navigate. We decided to do some off-roading to stop for a lunch break and see what we could find. It was pretty windy, so we found a sheltered spot to stop.
So we're just sat in a really, really beautiful spot, about 400 metres up, and having our lunch. And Charlotte was just saying how satisfying it is eating your way through your food supplies, because every time you eat, you think, yes, that's some weight taken off. And then I was just laughing, saying, yeah, and it's really good. You know, when you get to the last couple of days of a trail and you've left certain things to the end because you've just not fancied them the entire trip, and you're like, ugh, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to get through those bits that I didn't want. And then you get on the train when you finish at the end of the hike with an empty food bag, and you think, yes, I am a food rationing fucking wizard. And you feel really chuffed with yourself. Just thought, yeah, can anybody relate to that?
About 3/4 of the way up, we reached the dam we had seen on the hiker app. That meant we only had about 20 more minutes to summit. Woohoo, we made it! The highest point of the trail, and a well-deserved pit stop was needed. But what goes up must come down.
It's a bit boggy. Moist underfoot.
We're about halfway down the mountain. It's absolutely beautiful, but really, really windy, proper in your face. Like literally my nose is red. But now the sun's out, so we're just chilling out. We're gonna have a snack, and Charlotte and Jordan have gone for a swim in the little stream. So yeah.
Oh shit.
I feel that bit.
Are you okay?
You alright?
Yeah.
It's alright, that was a
I'm
really...
gonna go back over.
Now I'm going to take a stab in the dark at pronouncing this town name. Ardenay? Please correct me in the comments, as I'm sure that's wrong. But there is a hotel there, so we stopped for a quick snack before continuing alongside Loch Tay. We were eager to find a camp spot, as by now we were pretty shattered. Trouble was, both sides of the path were fenced off for miles. We were running out of hope and daylight hours when the camping gods decided to smile upon us.
Good morning, everybody. This is morning number 6 on the Rob Roy Way. Now, we had a bit of a nightmare last night. We came down off the mountain, which was fine, and we actually found a little, I think it was a hotel stroke bar restaurant at the bottom, so you could get a drink, you can get packets of crisps, or I think they even might do meals there. So that was a nice cheeky find that we didn't expect along the way. And then our original plan was to carry on towards the end of the stage and try and find a wild camping spot. But across the side of Loch Tay up to the end of this stage, there was literally nothing, nowhere to camp. We were going on, plodding on for miles and miles, right towards the end of the stage. And then we got chatting to a landowner, and he kindly offered for us to come and wild camp on his land, right by the loch, in this most beautiful area. So just be warned, if you were thinking of trying to wild camp on this section, unless you had like an absolute stroke of luck like us, you might find it difficult. But what I am going to do is, as we continue on, we're going to keep our eye out for any locations that might be suitable, and I'll let you know, and I'll pinpoint it on the map, so anybody doing this part, if you need a place to camp, you'll know.
We walked on for a few more miles, and about 2 miles before you reach Akan, we found a lovely potential camping spot.
There's a little viewpoint with some flat parts for tents. That's our new house, guys. Come round. So there's a bakery. We got snacks. Yeah!
We had spotted a bakery in a cairn, and although it was a commercial one, we knocked on and they kindly sold us some snacks.
We've just come to a cave, so we're going to go and investigate.
This cave was so awesome, right on the trail. It was called the Hermit's Cave and was built in 1790. It's 20 metres in length, which emerges suddenly to a viewing platform where you can see the waterfall across the gorge. A little bit further up the trail, it takes you right across the gorge on a little wooden bridge where you can get a better view. This was a welcome distraction from the fact we had been steadily climbing uphill since leaving the village. After the gorge, more beautiful landscape, and we were relieved to find it levelled out a little bit.
Hello again. Now we have some more news. We are halfway through stage 6 and now there's just 2 of us. I'll tell you for why.
We killed them all.
We did not kill them all. Charlotte and Jordan have had to get a train home a day early because they've got work and they couldn't get the time off. So they're not going to be finishing the trail. They're going to go to Aberfeldy and then catch the train from there to Pitlochry and go home. So it's just me and Danny on our own in the Scottish wilderness. But we're completing the trail, we're determined, we're gonna do it, even though it is so cold in the night. Oh, you're all right. Oh, it's a bit windy. So wish us luck, we're cracking on.
And then there were 2. We had allowed ourselves plenty of time for this trail, more than we needed, as it was Danny's first wild camping trail. And to be honest, we were both out of practice hiking and carrying large packs. But it felt so nice to be able to take our time and soak everything up. When there's so much beauty around, why would we want to rush anyway? We had a wild camping area in mind, about 6 miles out from Aberfeldy, in some woodland. We wanted to find a nice private spot to set up a little bit earlier and enjoy the last few hours of Scottish sunshine.
Well, here we are, we're all set up and ready to camp for the night. We decided to do a nice little forest camp because we haven't done very many of those on the trail so far. Now what happened today, we got about 9.5 miles in and we decided, because we've got a few days left until our train, that we're going to take some nice easy days and take it nice and leisurely till the end. As you can see, there's just me and Danny here now because Charlotte and Jordan aren't going to be finishing the trail with us. They have to go back to work a day early, so they're going to get to Aberfeldy first thing in the morning and catch the train home. We're going to arrive what time tomorrow roughly?
We've got about 6 miles-ish to walk, so maybe by like 11, something like that. We should be there.
And then maybe get some lunch.
Yes, coffee.
So you can get a coffee, and we're just taking it really steady. It's only about 5:45 now. We're all set up and ready, so we're going to get pretty early night. We've had some tea, and yeah, we'll catch you guys in the morning.
It had been a gorgeous spot right next to a little stream, and we actually had the best sleep we'd had all week.
Good morning everyone. This is day 7 and we've got about just over 5 miles walk into town. We're going to Aberfeldy and we're going to top up our supplies, get some coffee, charge our battery packs and our phones because they're all nearly out. But yeah, it's a really lovely morning and we're looking forward to having a nice walk. We had a really lovely woodland camp last night and we feel quite well rested, so yeah, should be a good day.
We couldn't believe our adventure was coming towards the end. What a week so far. Just 15 miles until the finish line.
Okay, we've just done a little bit of a climb through some beautiful woodland. It was lovely, bit out of breath though, so we're taking a quick break. Maybe get some sugar inside us, and then I think we're going down for a bit, back up again, and then all the way down into town, ready for that coffee.
Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches.
We had plenty of time and another night's camp, so could take the day nice and steady. We soon came to one of our favourite sections of the trail, the Birks of Aberfeldy, the spot that inspired Scottish lyricist and poet Robert Burns.
This section's beautiful, but it's quite difficult coming down because there's loads and loads and loads of steep steps. So allow for a bit more time than you think on the map.
Onwards to Aberfeldy, we were starving and desperately needed to charge our devices. So we found a pub and took a few hours break. After eating, we followed the trail alongside the River Tay.
Babe, what birds are they over there?
Some sort of duck thing.
As we begun the final stage, we spoke about the next trail we were tackling over the summer. Now this trail is a bit of a wild card and probably not what you might expect. It's going to be bloody exciting though, but more about this later.
So here we are, moseying our way through the very last stage of the Rob Roy Way. And at the minute, we're following a little footpath that runs adjacent to the River Tay. And it's been quite pretty. So far, not too many different wild camping spots in the area that we were hoping to camp at. But we've still got another mile section to try and find the unicorn of camping spots. And then hopefully tomorrow morning we'll only have about just over 5 miles to do, which includes a little bit of a hill and then down into Pitlochry. But I can't believe we're this close to the end. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's mad. It feels like it's zoomed past.
I know, it's crazy. I can't wait to watch these videos back and start editing them and putting them together.
Still no luck, so we saw a little path verging off to the left and decided to explore.
Come slightly off the path onto like a little nature footpath and it's beautiful. There's so many good wild camping spots.
If anyone wants the exact location of this detour, just message me. It's full of wild camp spots and just a 5-minute walk back to the trail. We pitched the tent and settled in for some dinner. It was so strange, we felt like the seasons had completely changed in this area. From spring to autumn, all the orange leaves had fallen off the trees.
Good morning, everyone. It's the final day of the trail. We have just 6 miles to go to the finish line, and we're so excited to finish.
Can you believe this is the first rain we've had on the entire trip? We've only got 4 miles left to go to hit the end of the trail. It's like it waited for us to almost to get to the end and was like, oh, I can't wait any longer. But Danny wanted to show you that she's colour coordinated today. Yeah. She is all in green and black.
What do you like this? Green.
Yes, I'm sure everybody's thrilled. They're all absolutely ecstatic to know that you're blending in.
Yes.
Stealth hiking. Camouflage. Okay, so 4 miles left to go. We can do this. 2 miles uphill. We've got this.
The autumn theme continued as we climbed the hill into Pitlochry. What a week! We had experienced all 4 seasons in one trip.
This is relentless.
It was a fair climb. Again, not ridiculously steep, but a steady 2 mile slog.
We've come to a little gate. I think it's going to be quite comedy seeing Daddy trying to fit through it. So, well, let's film it, shall we?
She just made it. A bit of a squeeze with that bag though.
So we're just about a mile up the hill coming into Pitlochry. We're a bit shattered, so we're taking a little break. But we have spotted on the way up quite a few potential wild camping spots. So if you did fancy wild camping just shy of Pitlochry on your last night, there's options halfway up the hill.
This was it, the last few miles of the trail.
Walking through the forest, got probably just under 2 miles to go. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a bit emotional. I really enjoyed the trail, and I don't want to leave the forest and get back into society again and back into, you know, the town, and this is the last bit for a while before the next one.
Aw, I always get quite emotional towards the finish line, and this one in particular had been so enjoyable, I just didn't want it to end.
One mile to go, and we've got our first view of Pitlochry.
It continued to drizzle as we made our way into Pitlochry, but we couldn't complain after the amazing weather we'd had this week.
So we're here in Pitlochry at the War Memorial, and this looks like where the trail ends. We did it! Yeah! 79 miles, yes, along the Rob Roy Way, and a massive congratulations to Danny, because it was, first of all, her first time in Scotland, secondly, her first time camping ever, thirdly, her first long distance trail completed wild camping. So yeah, massive achievement there, and to me as well, because there's another one that I can tick off my list. But where to next? That's the question. Where are we going next? Comments, please. Let us know your suggestions. We're gonna go to the pub actually, because I think we need a big fat glass of wine to celebrate.
Yeah.
Yes. See you there.
Well, there we go, another trail completed and under the belt, yes. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. Don't forget, next week coming out at 6 o'clock is gonna be the long-awaited Amazon rainforest adventure. Now, apologies, it's a little bit late getting up. I had to compile all the clips and it's taken a little bit longer to edit this one, but it will be out next week. And like I mentioned before, exciting news, we have got our next trail planned for the summer. like I said, it is a bit of a wild card, and I want you guys to try and guess what trail it is. I'm going to give you some clues and see if you can guess in the comments and see if you can get it right. Okay, so the trail we're going to be completing over the summer is in Europe. It's 108.5 miles long and it spans the entire length of an island. What do you think? Answers in the comments. And whilst I'm here as well, I just want to quickly touch on the Hiker app. Now, this is my favourite go-to app for all my hiking trails. It's absolutely superb, packed full of loads of features. Let's take a quick look. If you log on to the app, you can see that there's hundreds of trails, not just from the UK, but from all over the world. And there's so much there to inspire you. Just go on, you can have a little look. It even has trending trails. It shows you featured trails. There's even blogs and articles about different trails that you can hike. I've even wrote one myself for this app, all about the Snowdonia Way mountain route that I completed last summer, which has been my most difficult and challenging trail to date. So make sure you check out that blog. And if you haven't seen the videos, you can find them on my channel as well. Now, I'm not going to keep banging on about how fantastic this app is. I really want you guys to appreciate it and see it firsthand for yourselves. So I have included the link to the app in the video description below. It is completely free to download, so go on and check it out. There's also a premium version where you can download the GPS maps so you can use it offline, and it has a ton of extra features that you can use on the premium version. And if you did want to check that out, I have included a cheeky discount code as well for that. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to tune in next week and stay safe, everybody. Bye.